Alright. Hello everyone. 2019 was such a good year for film. Movies like Little Woman, movies like 1917, Marriage Story, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, movies like The Irishman, Honey Boy, A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. Didn't get shit at any of the awards. I'm not saying Parasite isn't worth it, but it just gets to show you how good of a year it was. This year my scorecard is 240, which includes everything I watched this year, from films, feature docs, to shows and shorts. If we're playing the only film game, I watched 219 films plus 12 seasons of shows and 9 short films. And the reason why I want to report every year is because I want to add weight to my list every year. Like I said before, a person making a list with 40 movies or 50 movies watched, his list is gonna be wildly different than the person who watched 150. This year I cheated a lot. I didn't pick top 10, top 15. I picked 20 just because there are so many great movies, and not only I have an honorable mention list, I didn't pick 3, 5, I picked 11. My list, my rule. The rule for this particular list, just so you know, I'm not judging by objective merits, they're just my personal favorites. There's something about them that makes me keep thinking about them. My number 1 to number 4 are fixed. I know where they stand and why they stand there, and I probably won't change their places over time. My number 5 to number 11 are the second tier, where they can really be rearranged based on my mood, and they can be switched around depending on time. And my 12 to 20 are the third tier, which are basically the same as the second tier but on the third tier. Before I start, I want to say I haven't watched Portrait of a Lady on Fire yet, the only film I think has the potential of changing the list. When I eventually do, and there might be a change to the list, I'll leave it in a comment. And I'm so desperate to watch this movie. There's no screening near me. The only screening is at Hollywood, and it doesn't fit with my schedule, and it's like hashtag fuck limited release. But yeah, if there's any change to the list, I will leave it in a comment, because I just can't wait for everything. I haven't rewatched Little Woman yet, so I think that has the potential of changing the list, especially with a second viewing. But if there's any change, I'll leave it in the comments. Starting with the honorable mentions, let's just start with Little Woman, a fantastic film with probably the best ensemble of the year. The Irishman, the first season of The Irishman flew by like it was only 120 minutes. Avengers Endgame, the biggest movie in history, and also one of the nerdiest films I've ever seen. But still, hashtag Team Avatar to the end. John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum, because Keanu Reeves. Ruben Brand Collector, a movie with such a unique style of animation that ended on a very ambiguous note that keeps me hanging. Mono is one of the most beautiful looking films of the year. Booksmart, a film that achieved so much in so little time. Under the Silver Lake, this movie might or might not be on the list. You have to figure that out yourself. Dr. Sleep, even though it felt rushed, it is a burning and patient film. Can't wait for the director's cut. I bet it's better. Her Smell is very good. Alright, let's get to the list. Number 20, Climax, a movie I completely fell for as soon as I watched it, but still too scared to go back and watch it again. Number 19, A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. That 1 minute of silence is still on my mind. And also,
it's a beautiful day in this neighborhood, a beautiful day for a neighbor. Would you be mine?
Enough said. Number 18, we have The Peanut Butter Falcon, which I call it the best feel-good movie of the year. Besides that, I love the message as well. Number 17, we have JOJO Rabbit, a fantastic use of material for a coming-of-age story that touched me and many others. Number 16, The Nightingale, a film that really takes its time just to have one of the craziest endings of the year, probably the best revenge tale I've seen in a while. Number 15, I Lost My Body, and you know how much I love this movie, and I'm starting to develop this newfound love for French film. This movie left such an impression with its delivery and atmosphere, and there's probably more to explore than you would think. Number 14, Knives Out, one of my favorite scripts of the year, and I'm just a big murder mystery fan of a classic whodunit. That's why I love Hitchcock so much. Number 13, The Art of Self-Defense, the second driest humor I've seen this year. I just love the way it explores toxic masculinity. Number 12, we have Joker, a different beat for the comic book movies nowadays. And of course, Joaquin Phoenix. Before we move to the next tier is intermission time, everybody. Been a while since we had that. In this intermission, I want to shout out some great shows I saw this year, and those are Barry 2, very funny, Unbelievable, very unbelievable, Love, Death and Robots, very love, yeah, Kingdom, Really nice show on Netflix, go check it out. And the best one I saw this year was Chernobyl, a show that makes me want to stay in the house for the rest of the week. Okay, moving on. Number 11, we have Uncut Gems, a movie that induces constant anxiety which lingers long after the credit. The Altman-inspired overlapping dialogues makes the audience feels like they're part of the story world as you try to get everyone to listen. Adam Sandler gave one of his best performances. Safdie brothers gave one of the best acceptance speeches. One of the best edited films with some of the best sound editing and mixing of the year. Uncut Gems is one hell of a ride you cannot miss. Coming in hot, we have Loose at number 10 spot, which has one of my favorite screenplays of the year, one of the best ensembles of the year as well. We as audience never really know what's going on with the characters, and that's part of the message the filmmakers try to convey. You might walk out this movie thinking the main character is a straight up sociopath or just a genius, and it's up to you to make the decision, which is what makes it so brilliant. Number 9, we have Midsommar. I just learned that they were at one point gonna release this film with white bars on top and bottom instead of black, and holy shit, I wish they had. Following Hereditary, I had expectation with this film. After the first viewing, I thought it was okay. The second viewing got a lot better, and the third viewing, which was the director's cut for me, was pretty much riveting. It withstood the challenge of time, and it's one of those movies I can't stop thinking about ever since. At number 8 place, we have Parasite. I was definitely overhyped for this one. A lot of people has been saying like this is the movie of the year, the movie of the decade, blah 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 blah. And Bong Joon-ho came out and said the reason why they connected with so many American audiences is because how it talks about capitalism and coming from China and Taiwan. I don't know if it had anything to do with my experience watching it, which was interesting because I think if no one had seen Parasite, right, and no one is talking about it, I would probably love this movie a lot more. Parasite is a film that gains with more viewings. Please do not give it up if you don't like it the first time. Let it settle down and go back again. I can almost guarantee the result will be different. Number 7 for me is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. It's a movie about just that. The blaring cinematography acts as a speaker for Quentin Tarantino to blast out his love for Hollywood and cinema, and it's fucking awesome. It is a hilarious film with one of the most satisfying finales of the year. Tarantino's 9th film is fantastic. Number 6, we have The Lighthouse, one of the weirdest films of the year that I, again, disliked first time watching it. The cinematography and the performances are top notch and there's nothing much you can really say about it. It's a film that makes you uncomfortable, but in a good way. It is a movie that knows exactly what it's aiming for, but too good to just say it out loud. Number 5, we have Toy Story 4. It shows the studio and the franchise can keep on telling million-dollar stories that feel natural and organic from a technical standpoint. It is what Pixar has been trying to achieve for the past decades. It was the only film that made me cry in recent years, which I will not soon forget. Okay, moving on to the top 4. Like I said, everything else can be shuffled depending on my mood and my state and the time, but I think the top 4 are set in stone and I'm confident of where they stand. Starting with number 4, we have 1917. 1917 is Hollywood at its finest. I said it, I'll say it again. It is what Hollywood should be, breaking new grounds technically and telling stories that you can tell it meant something for the storytellers. It has one of my favorite scores of the year and a cinematography that truly pushes the limit of filmmaking. If you don't watch this in IMAX, you're not watching it right. Number 3, Marriage Story. Noam Baumbach has constructed a story world that is so simple and mundane, but so effectively real at the same time. Its attention to the details is beautifully presented, and it's not just about what's written on paper, it's how it is translated on screen. The way the characters move in relations with the camera, the way it was edited to how it was delivered. Marriage Story is, if not the rawest film I've seen in a while, in which it does not compromise characters for plot, and the other way around. It feels like the audience members are eavesdropping on actual events, which is why we watch movies. It is an illumination on characters and a reflection of human lives. It is on Netflix and you should definitely go see it as soon as possible. Number 2 is Ad Astra. For the longest time, I was struggling to figure out which one I like better, Ad Astra or Marriage Story, and I was just trying to figure this shit out. Although I do think Marriage Story is a better film, Ad Astra touched me a lot more. Regardless of its accuracy to real-life science, Ad Astra created a story world that glued the character web strong and steady. It is a film that's more interested in a person's mind than spectacle. It is not afraid to tell because the show part is already in place. Number 1, we have The Farewell. The Farewell is a movie I never expected to hit me like it did. It is an inspiration to see how Lulu got the movie made and just the process she went through for this. I don't think I have to explain much by this point on why I love this movie. I made a video talking about some of your favorite or your personal films, and the theory I discussed was the most personal films should be your favorite film as well, because it reaches you like no other films do. The Farewell is the one for me in a while, and certainly of the year. It argues questions I personally think about a lot, which is why the film always has a seat in my mind. Although the premise is far-fetched for my own experience, as I've never had to go through something like that in my personal lives, I feel like it's something that I will eventually. It is a dilemma I've discussed with my mom and other people around me, and our answers is the exact same as the dilemma of the film, the fact that there's no clear answers. Almost every character The Farewell embodies, I've seen some sort of incarnation in real life around me, and I cannot praise how much The Farewell presents its realism, because when I think about it or watch it, it feels like home. And that's it. That's my top fucking 45 of the list, and they're all really good. You know, you can pick a movie from honorable mention and they can easily be in other people's top 10 or top 5. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. I'm ready to move on to 2020 films now. I mean, this video is way overdue. I think I will rewatch Little Women later. If there's any change, I'll put it in the comments. And also Portrait of a Lady on Fire, please come out, for fuck's sake. I've been waiting for what, months now, 4 months. And yes, thank you so much for watching. Tell me some of your favorite films of the year, and yeah, blah 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 blah. Yeah, I'll see you next time. Bye.